Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Meena every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. Thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Shri N.K. Sood joins us today. In fact, our program is much earlier because I wanted to fit in with his schedule. He's busy usually in the evenings. So he obliged us by saying that in the morning he'll be free to talk to us. So thank you so much, Mr. Sood, for that.
Most welcome. My pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah. Very kind of you.
No issue. Yeah.
Yeah. So, sir, there's been a lot of things that have been happening in Bollywood. The first point I would like to, make is that about, Bollywood people saying that, see, because of the boycott Bollywood movement, their technicians are not being paid. The whole industry is suffering. And it is actually the opposite because Farhan Akhtar, Ritesh Sidhwani are accused of non-payment of film workers' wages for months. And this is around
Yeah.
300 to 400 members of the film studios and allied Mazdoor Union who've been working for Farhan Akhtar and Ritesh Sidhwani. So can you tell us something more about this, sir?
First thing I would like to tell you that whatever the Bollywood says, they are correct. I don't say they are wrong, but they will have to change their attitude. We cannot see their pictures. We are boycotting the Bollywood because of their actions, because of the actions of the three Salman Khan, Amir Khan, and Shah Rukh Khan. Besides, people like Farhan Khan and his father Javed Akhtar, etc., the kind of comments they make. If they were good actors, no issue. But they are better politicians. They are better supporting our enemies, whether it is Pakistan or Turkey. And we cannot support them. If they want good pictures, we will support them. If they make pictures like Kashmir Files, we will support them. If they make pictures like Tufan, as this Farhan Akhtar is making, we will not support them. And if they make controversial pictures like what Amir Khan did, we will not watch them. If Shah Rukh Khan makes picture like Pathan, we will not watch them. Let them make good pictures. On Rani Lakshmi, there are a lot of heroes, a lot of independent people who have fought for India's independence. We will definitely watch them, but they will have to make it clear that they are for India. As far as Farhan Akhtar is there, he had been making anti-India statements. He had supported anti-CA bill. He had supported all the actions that were against India. His father, Javed Akhtar, same was his attitude. And you see his mother, uh, uh, she had also been making a lot of controversial statements when the Kashmiri
Yeah, you're
Hindus, they
talking
were
about
being pushed out.
you're talking about stepmother.
Yeah, yeah. And you see, when the Hindus were being pushed out of Kashmir, she was moving around in Srinagar along with Chief Minister Farooq Abdullah on a
Farooq Abdullah.
motorcycle, and they were enjoying. They were enjoying everything,
Hmm.
So this is the
Yes,
kind,
yes.
this kind of attitude cannot be tolerated, And you see, when in the olden days, we used to appreciate our heroes. We used to follow them. We used to follow the hairstyles of our heroines. But today we can't do. Heroes, as far as the heroes are concerned, I must say the Pakistani supported heroes, yeah, Dawood Ibrahim supported heroes, will not support them. If they want to be our heroes, they will have to be first Indians, then Muslims, or Pakistanis, and they will have to adopt to the Indian culture and again Indian system. Recently, this Amir Khan, he was sitting in a program of Kaun Banega Crorepati. There was I think, some army officers, lady was there, and then Amitabh Bachchan asked them that we should pay some respect to certain army officers who had died in the war. Everybody stood and saluted. Amir Khan did not do that, and it is
Hmm.
not that Amir Khan forget. It is deliberate act. This act used to be committed by some others also.
Hmm.
I think Javed Akhtar won't do that. And these people regularly visit Pakistan. Javed Akhtar and Shabana Azmi, they visit Pakistan regularly. And as far as Amir Khan is there, he goes to Turkey. Turkey is a country which supports which supports Pakistan, which opposes India's Kashmir policy, which infiltrates into India, which sends militants into India. Recently, a militant was caught in Russia, and he was Uzbek. He had got training from ISI in Turkey, and he was supposed to come to India to killed some Indian politicians, So when our heroes or so-called heroes or fake heroes make such kind of treatment or make such kind of statements or indulge in anti-India activities, we cannot support them. Farhan Akhtar is one of them. He and these people, I think the people, Bollywood is a big industry. It supports India's uh, other purposes also. People want to see their movies, but we cannot support those people who earn money from us. They abuse us. After that, they support the Kashmiri militants or people supporting it, opposing India. So that's the reason. I think whatever
But
the
sir,
people have started
yeah,
doing.
yeah. But sir, I think this movement started only with the death of Sushant Singh Rajput, when everything began to get exposed.
Yeah, true. And I must take full credit to Sushant Singh Rajput. Of course, he's dead, but he has taught us a lot of things. Because of him, we have started boycotting Bollywood, but people had been demanding that justice should be given to Sushant Singh Rajput. But there are a lot of issues. I think some people may not like that. When Sushant Singh Rajput died, immediately the Mumbai police they announced that he committed suicide. I was the first person. I think after a few days, I just because from the day one I realized that this is not a suicide because the kind of the way he had died, I smelled that it is the underworld which is behind his murder. And none from the Bollywood stood with him. None from the Bollywood raised his voice. They were all enjoying, but the people of India they hated them. They started hating them from day one. But
Yeah.
later on, the case was given to CBI. CBI, when the case was given to CBI, before that, all the evidence was erased. His post-mortem report, that was that was a different report. It says that it was a suicide. So CBI was helpless. CBI could not do anything because when the court cases go to court, the court decides the case or the crime that one has committed on the basis of evidence, which the evidence they had destroyed. But God has played a big role in this, or even our government, they have played a big role. At that time, the police commissioner of Mumbai, he was Parambir Singh. And it is not there that Parambir Singh was not aware of anything, but today Parambir Singh is under suspension and he is asking the government to permit him to retire, but the government is not retiring him, and I'm sure he will be dismissed very soon. At that time, the Home Minister was Anil Deshmukh. Anil Deshmukh should have known everything what was happening in Sushant Singh Rajput, but he said the Mumbai police they are he compared them with the Scotland Yard. So today, for the past 10 months, Anil Deshmukh is in jail. Then Nawab Malik. Nawab Malik's van was there when Sushant Singh Rajput's body was being taken, and he specially sent a van, ambulance. And everybody knew that there's something wrong with this. And this man was always had a doubt. People had doubt about him that he had links with Dawood Ibrahim. And today, because of his links with Dawood Ibrahim, he's in jail for the last 6 or 7 months. Then Sanjay Raut, who had always been shouting at the top of his voice, and he had started targeting Arnab Goswami, then Kangana Ranaut, and today he is also in jail. So I think the God is doing justice, or maybe the government is indirectly doing justice. So in a way, even at that time, the chief minister, Uddhav Thackeray, he was silent, and his role was also not liked by the people. And where is Uddhav Thackeray? He lost his job. He lost this chief ministership, and I don't think he will ever become the chief minister of Maharashtra again. So I think in a way, big justice has been done by Sushant Singh Rajput. Maybe his soul is doing something, or even the government is doing something indirectly. And the biggest thing that the justice has been given to Sushant Singh Rajput is the failure of Bollywood films for the past 2 years. That's a big achievement. And I think the people will never forget, never forgive these people who have played a negative role in Sushant Singh Rajput's death. And ever since, these people, the Bollywoodians, their arrogance, their attitude is not liked by the people. So they are suffering and they should suffer.
So NYT is asking, please ask if CBI will file 302, or is he saying there's no evidence, so no 302?
You see, the problem is that when the case goes to the court will see what is your medical report or the postmortem report. Postmortem report says it was a suicide. Same thing happened with your Shashi Tharoor's wife also. Everybody knows that she was murdered, she was killed, And there was evidently ISI had, at that time the Congress government was there, and all the TV cameras of Leela Hotel, etc. They had all the CCTV cameras.
Yes.
Everything was missing. That was deleted, and even the data on the mobile, that was deleted. And at that time, Shashi Tharoor was attending a meeting of the Congress Working Committee. He came to the hotel at 8 o'clock along with the security personnel. At that time, she was Sunanda Pushkar, she was dead. So Shashi Kapoor could not be charged with
Shashi
the
Tharoor,
case of
yeah.
murder because he was not Shashi Tharoor. So he could not be charged with the case of this murder. Later on, a case against him was filed for suicide, that he prompted her to commit suicide, but evidence was lacking, so he was set free. So this is the case, because when the cases go to court, the courts have to see the evidence that is put before them. The personal statement of anybody is of no relevance. The doctor who had performed this postmortem on Sunanda Pushkar, he even went to the court and he gave a statement that he had the influence of two ministers. One was the health minister, Azad, and second was Shashi Tharoor. So he had to give the report, but the court did not means accept his argument, and of course they noted that, but that was of no relevance. That did not help Sunanda Pushkar. So when the cases go to court, the courts have to see in a different way. But the government is punishing them, and all the 4 or 5 people that I have told you, they have been punished. People have punished Bollywood. After that, number of other people like Riya Chakravarti and some others who were involved in drugging Sushant Singh Rajput, they are being punished, and very soon they will also be in jail. I think this is the maximum that can happen. And if you take the name of Dawood Ibrahim, Dawood Ibrahim is hiding. He doesn't want to come off at his house. He knows the moment he comes off his hiding, he'll be finished. India is
But
now
some
procuring.
say, but some say that he's dead.
No, he is not dead. As far as my information is there, he is not dead, because this FATF report is FATF has filed a case against Pakistan, that they put Pakistan in the grey list. It is only because of Dawood Ibrahim and some other people. So actually, Dawood Ibrahim is a big liability for Pakistan, but Pakistan cannot leave him. And you know, recently India has signed a deal with the US to procure MQ9, this drones, which is a long range drone, and that can be used to target anyone who is sitting in Pakistan or Afghanistan. So I think that could be the purpose. But Dawood Ibrahim that way is not a liability for us. The basic liability for us are the people who are sitting in India, who are supporting Pakistan. If somebody
Yeah.
is sitting in Pakistan and supporting Pakistan is of hardly of any relevance. But the people, whether it's the Bollywoodians or some other people who support Pakistan directly or indirectly, they are they should be targeted, and they are, I think, on the target of our government also, and more than that, they are on the target of our people.
Yeah.
That's why they are boycotting Bollywood.
Pranita is saying, please ask why is CBI and ED not doing anything on SSR case so far?
I told you that way that whatever the evidence CBI has is not sufficient. If they take that case to this court, nothing will happen. Nothing can happen, because when after Sushant Singh Rajput's death, the case was handed over to CBI, and that was handed over to CBI on the directive of Mumbai High Court. Too much time have elapsed, and the house of Sushant Singh Rajput, it was totally cleaned. So CBI could not get any evidence, and verbal evidence is meaningless in court. Second thing that is counted is the medical report. Medical report had said that Sushant Singh Rajput committed suicide. Of course, people know who prepared that medical report, but CBI then sent a team of AIMS doctor to Mumbai to recheck that report, but they were helpless because they had no authority to change the report. So I think the CBI is lacking. But see the thing, if she's talking about ED, it is ED which has put Paramveer Singh, which has targeted Paramveer Singh, which has targeted Anil Deshmukh, which has targeted your your Sanjay Raut, which has targeted even Nawab Malik. It is because
So
of the
my
ED that.
feeling, yeah, my feeling is that CBI, during the time of the Mahavikas Agadi, were actually getting threatening calls saying that they will fix them. and a lot of the time they were scared to come out. It is only now that the government has changed that we can expect some sort of justice, because the fear, has gone off.
No, actually, of course, the CBI they were being threatened, and even you see some of the ED officers, they were attacked also. But now the Maharashtra government is gone. But the only thing is the evidence cannot be gathered now. But still, because I think the people may not be, because you see, when the case of Sushant Singh Rajput came, the local sub inspector who was conducting the inquiry, he said, so it's a suicide, and it looked that it was
But
already
sir,
made out.
they
Huh.
have got the hard drive of his diaries. There's so much of evidence already in their hands.
But all most of the things, one Pathan was there. He had entered Sushant Singh Rajput's house and destroyed all the evidence, all the CDs, etc. But the main thing that is counted is that the CCTV cameras that means cameras what
Footage.
is recorded in that was missing. CBI has to look into the medical report. Medical report says that he committed suicide. So that is why CBI now
No,
wants to
see, the
target
people,
Riya
all
Chakrabarti.
the people are saying is that why can't CBI declare that, at least they can declare it's a murder rather than just sticking on to the fact that it's a suicide.
You see, if CBI does that, if CBI goes against whatever the evidence is there, the very next day the case will be dismissed. India is not Pakistan. India is not China. India is a democratic country, and our our this judicial system, they look at the things from the right perspective. They will not agree to anything. If the CBI says this, then CBI will be in a difficult situation in the near future after that, and it is not going to help. The only thing is that the people who were directly or indirectly involved in the murder or the killing of Sushant Singh
Yeah,
Rajput,
here, yes,
they,
exactly. Now, Paramveer Singh and Waze can testify, because Waze was very much in the scene at that time.
I think Vaze came little after that.
No,
But
no,
Paramveer,
he was there at the hospital, Kupa Hospital, when they were.
that's true.
Yeah.
The, you see, the basically when the case goes to court, and these kind of things may not help. But now, when the government has changed, I think because Vaze has already agreed to become approver against Paramveer Singh or Anil Deshmukh, so that's why I have just made a video also that the government should look into the case afresh. And CBI should be given authority to conduct fresh inquiries and then punish these people on the basis of the evidences that will be given by Vaze and some of the people who were very close to Sushant Singh Rajput, who were in his house, and even Riya Chakrabarti, as to who was the person who was providing her drugs. After this government came to power, before that, the underworld was having a free hand in Mumbai. But immediately when this government came, of course, it took a lot of time for this government to come, because only the Shiv Sainiks, when they revolted, then this government came. Now, I think the government is should conduct a proper inquiry, fresh inquiry, and I think this is in the minds of the government. And after the fresh inquiries is conducted on the basis of evidences that the people give, it may help to nail down some more people. Already the main culprits, I think, who sitting at the top. I don't blame the local sub inspector that if he says something that it was a suicide, he cannot say that unless he has the approval or the guidance or the directions of the people who are sitting at the top, whether it is the commissioner, it is the home minister, or the chief minister, and they all
When
kept quiet.
so, yeah, when so much is against Bollywood, why then is Eknath Shinde and Fadnavis posing with these actors on stage?
You see, basically they are whether you say Shinde or Fadnavis, they are running the government. They have a lot of things on their hands. They are not individuals, and when they act as a chief minister or something, they are not individuals, and they cannot target this Bollywood people. It will be difficult for them. It could create problems for the country. It could create problems for the people who are staying there. But these things have to be done by the people, and we should not depend for everything on the government, that government should do this thing, Modi should do this thing. They have a lot of problems, lot of liabilities, and
No,
especially
but
if
here,
Fadnavis have been.
sir, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry to interfere, but if something has happened against Bollywood, it is only thanks to the public. It is not thanks to the government. 2.5 years, Sushant has died. It is because of the public anger that anything is coming out. Otherwise, it would have been a hidden story.
Yeah, that is true. I totally agree with that. the way the public has stood, public never stood came together on any issues, and the boycott is only the monopoly of the public, and public has done that. That's a very good thing. And but on the other hand, if the home minister, if the commissioner of police, if Nawab Malik, they are in jail for a number of months. Nawab Malik is in jail for the past, I think, 6 months, and your this Home Minister Anil Deshmukh, he is in jail for the past 10 months. It's a big credit, and it's a credit to the government through ED, because CBI was helpless in this case. CBI was not even if Aryan Khan was targeted, Aryan Khan went because of the NCB. That's a different thing, that he was declared innocent, and I know who manipulated that, because at that time the government was different, but that has caused a lot of disturbances there, that has damaged the reputation of these Bollywoodians who were called the three heroes, like they were compared to anything, as if they are running the Bollywood. But now these people have been marginalized. It's a big achievement, and I must give the full credit to the public. You see, the government's hands are tied. Government cannot basically direct a person. Government cannot basically target a person. And you see, if tomorrow the Modi starts making such kind of statements on Sushant Singh Rajput, it will be very disgraceful for the government. It will damage their reputation. When the government is sitting, they have to see the word, they have to watch the word. And now Nupur Sharma's case came. Nupur Sharma made some statement. Of course, I don't support, I have not seen a statement, neither I am against her statement. But when she was targeted, the government had to go on back foot, because there are 57 countries and a lot of people, I think crores of people, they are working in the Gulf who support India. And we cannot spoil our relations with them, because the government has to look at the things from a bigger perspective. Our trade, our people's job, our country's image, our country's business, our country's economy, our country's foreign relations, and our country's strength. So the government, in certain cases, maybe for a government, this may not be that important case, but for us, this is an important case. We played a role, and everyone in the country, he has a duty to serve the nation, to serve the cause of the nation. And the way the people have boycotted Bollywood, they have served the nation in a big way. And without the help of the people, nothing can happen in the country. Nothing should happen with the country. And these Bollywoodians, especially these three heroes, Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, and Amir Khan. Besides, Javed Akhtar is between 1970 and 1972, he made 14 films. Out of those, in all these pictures, the Hindus were shown in the negative role as dons. Although at that time only 5 dons were operating in Mumbai. Out of them, Dawood Ibrahim was also there, but he was never shown in the negative. Any Muslim was not shown in the negative role. 4 of the 5 dons, they were operating in Mumbai, were Muslims. Between 1982 and 1996, he again made 14 films. Hindus were shown in the negative role, and he never showed a Muslim in the negative role. And they had been targeting Hindus. But see today what is the situation. And you see, we were watching their films. We were enjoying their films at that time, because we were not aware. Awareness amongst us has come during the past few days, and surely after Sushant Singh Rajput's death. So, and public has woken up. If public had not woken up, government cannot ask anybody that you boycott this film or boycott that film. The government cannot do that. That's not the role of the government. It's the people. Of course, the government is for the people, by the people, and of the people. But if the people are not involved, the government is helpless. If in Sushant Singh Rajput's case, the public had not raised their voice, I think nothing would have happened.
Yeah,
What happened in Sridevi's case?
sir, I would just like to beg to disagree, because see, people like Eknath Shinde's son is very close to people like Salman Khan, and also Fadnavis's wife and his daughter are also very close to Bollywood. So when family members are themselves involved with Bollywood and they want to promote their PR activities, the person who is a politician has mixed feelings.
I tell you one thing, that I have very good relations with certain Muslims, very good relations. But it doesn't mean that I am supporting them. Of course, when they were sitting in Bollywood, when they were ministers or anything, they would have good relations with everybody. Even I think PM Modi must have met this Salman Khan. And tomorrow, if Amir Khan, he wants to see PM Modi on some issue, PM Modi will meet him. He has to keep those things outside. PM Modi had met Akshay Kumar. PM, this our Home Minister, he had met Akshay Kumar, because Akshay Kumar is the highest Miss taxpayer in Bollywood. So you see, the government, when the people, you're in power, you have to see everybody in a different way. And if somebody sits with somebody,
But
it's not that he is promoting a film.
sir, when rooting out corruption is your first aim, and that's why we vote you to power. That is your first agenda, isn't it?
You see, everything is on agenda. It's not the corruption. First thing is your country. You cannot project yourself that you support or hate certain community. If you do that, you will lose everything.
No, but Akshay Kumar is
Today,
not a community. Akshay Kumar is a Hindu.
I tell you one thing. I didn't see anything negative in Akshay Kumar, because somebody, I had given an interview someday about Akshay Kumar.
No. Sir, I wish to disagree here, because when the day Sushant Singh died, at 1 p.m., that is even before 1 a.m., before even it was announced, he was the first one who said he has committed suicide. I feel bad for him. And he and the other person, one more actor also, said that, Dino Moria. And then they had to take their statement back, because they knew they had created a big, thing. Now, how did Akshay Kumar know that he had died? Akshay Kumar is very much a part of this, what has been happening, and we cannot say that he's innocent.
I tell you one thing. When these people, they were in Bollywood, nobody was out of the influence of Dawood Ibrahim or the underworld.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody feared for their life. Everybody feared for their life. They knew that if they do something, say something, they will be targeted, they will be hit, the way Sushant Singh Rajput has been done. So whenever these people, they had to release their pictures outside India, they had to depend on certain Pakistanis who were hand in hand,
One of the important people is Sajjad Nadiadwala.
Yeah, Nadiadwala, basically, yes. Yeah, you see, basically, even his wife, she was targeted. I will surely make some video on that, because we cannot say certain thing directly. So, Dawood Ibrahim had asked Nadiadwala, because he had to take some money from him. He had asked him to send his wife. She refused. One is this reason. And Nadiadwala was not able to pay the money that he owed to Dawood Ibrahim. So that time, Dawood Ibrahim was ruling Mumbai. And you see, the people for the last 20-30 years, Bollywood was having lot of influence from Dawood Ibrahim or the Bollywood gang or this DK gang. So everybody working in Bollywood was under their influence. And after this government came, this government took a lot of time to settle down on certain issues, whether it was foreign relations or other economic issues, or even I tell you one thing, that Ram Mandir was not taken up when PM Modi was PM. He took up Ram Mandir only when he won the elections in 2019. Before that, our bureaucrats, they were not supporting Modi, and this thing had happened with your Atal Bihari Vajpayee also. Atal Bihari Vajpayee was regularly cheated by his bureaucrats, even intelligence people, because they knew that tomorrow the Congress comes, they would start targeting them. So Modi did not want to do anything. First 5 years, he was just going around the world, strengthening India's position in the world, strengthening to purchase India's defense items. In second term, then he brought the issue of Ram Mandir only after coming to power, and he was able to get a judgment in his favor, in the favor of the Ram Mandir. Now you see this government after coming to power, this government is taking offensive steps against other people. Previously they were not able to take position, and if he had done anything now see, there was a government in Maharashtra. Everybody wanted this. Subramanian Swamy said, you impose article 356 and remove them. If Modi had done that, Modi would have been abused by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is not the same when it was under Indira Gandhi. If they do that, Supreme Court would have reinstalled the government. It would have been difficult. Now 50 MLAs have come together to challenge Thakre's. Then only the government has gone. Otherwise, the government, they had started the bulletproof project from Ahmedabad to Mumbai. This project's cost was rupees 1,08,000 crores. Now, when the Shiv Sena government came to power, they disturbed this project. its cost has risen by 50,000 crores. And that is why Fadnavis has been kept there to look after this project so that this project is completed and government does not incur further losses. So there are a lot of things that the government has to see, and
So
government,
yeah.
yeah,
While you're
yeah.
going on this, another question that I want to ask you is that, see, when going back to Akshay Kumar, now Akshay Kumar brings out movies just like, at the drop of a hat. Now, is this a motive to bring out, do money laundering? Because none of his movies are successful. Everything is a flop, and every week there is a movie. How come he's doing so many movies, and is he doing it as a part of the money laundering?
You see, basically, you talk about the Bollywood. Lot of money is there. When the money is there, the people will come up. Whether it's Akshay Kumar or anybody, they, if the
No,
Amir Khan, he
when you
has
say money, are you talking about black money or white money?
black money with that, white money, but with that, the black money flows mainly. Even when this Dilip Kumar and all those people, they were heroes or heroer at that time. This Lala or something, he was one of the underworld man. He and these people, they had to hide that money. They have to do that for certain. I tell you one thing. One of my friends, he was a SHO in a police station. He told me he had risen up. He said, in our, if there is raid by the CBI or any agency on our police station, we will be arrested and put to jail because we keep a lot of things that are unauthorized. Because if we don't do that, then we cannot survive. Like the that is with the guns, etc. He says we cannot do that. And in Bollywood also they have to do that. But but now when the government is taking a notice of them, they have to be more careful. And you see, talk of Amir Khan. Amir Khan's properties are or cars that have come to notice that are more than 300 crores of rupees. He has a flat in the USA that cost 75 crores. He has a flat in Bombay which cost 65 crores. That was the purchasing power. And besides that, his film has failed, no doubt. But for this film, this Amir Khan, he was charging 50 crores. Besides that, he wanted to put that picture in some when he will be selling his picture to China. From China, he may earn 2,000 crores. That's what they had been doing that, and where that money is going, nobody knows. But now the agencies are looking into this, and
No,
it will take some time.
that is another money laundering place. Now in China,
Yeah,
who loves Hindi movies? Nobody
but the
understands Hindi.
I tell you that these people are very clever. They know how to steal the money, how to keep the money, and the moment government comes to know of something, our agencies come to know of something. Because I have also worked in the agencies, we know it's not an easy job to get details about somebody, because where these people are hiding, I think investigations must be going on. The moment they catch hold of that, they will act, because now they are in no mood to leave anybody. Earlier, I tell you one thing, that there was a information when I was posted outside India. At that time, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the prime minister, and the information was about a very important Congress leader. So when during Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the information was to be sent to headquarters. Even the headquarters, when they were asked, they said don't send it. And the officer under whom I was working was very honest. So I said, so why don't you send this? He said, when I send this information, nothing will happen. The only thing is, these people are vindictive. When I will come back, I will be targeted and put in jail for nothing. So this vindictiveness is there. But now these people who are working in the agencies, they are fearless, because government will support them, and they know that corrupt government is not going to come back to power. So those are the reasons. And especially you know how much work the ED is doing, how many people the ED is charging. Anybody may something that they are vindictive or something, but the people are hiding money and they are being caught. And especially those people who make noises, whether it is Nawab Malik, whether it is Sanjay Raut, whether it is Manish Sisodia, or whether anybody else, or whether Mamata Banerjee's ministers. And the people who are keeping quiet, they don't come to the notice of the ED, because the ED, CBI, RAW, IB, all these agencies, they are not too big. They cannot handle so much of rush. So this is the problem with the agencies. The people who make noise, they come to notice, they start working against them. And you see, when this cow smuggling case has come to the notice of CBI, it had come to the notice of CBI in the year 2016. It took 6 years to nab them. 6 years, you see. During this period, they were conducting inquiries, they were gathering information. After that, they struck it. In one of the cases that I was involved, in that case, this agency was involved in for the past 10 years. It takes a lot of time. It is not a job that you go and rate somebody. You cannot do that.
Uh, Suji, do you think that Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi are preparing to leave India?
Very difficult question, but because they know that they are totally booked in the National Herald case. But the thing is, can government arrest them? They have made a lot of corruption, but there are other people, the government has to see it from a different perspective. If they arrest them, all the Congress people will be on the roads, sitting on the roads, stopping traffic. Besides that, other people who are also there, whether Mamata Banerjee is there, whether your Shiv Sena is there, or NCP is there, or other parties, means from UP, they will come to the roads, because government has to see a lot of things. They would not like that a situation arises in the country where your economic activities, they are stopped. That's why when the farmers agitation was there, government did not fire a single bullet. When the people, they raised the flag at Lal Killa, it is not, the government could not have stopped them, but government put the policemen over there without bullets, only with the lathi, and the other people, they came with swords, etc., and they were prepared to go to Lal Killa. If something would have been done, it would have damaged India's image, it would have hurt our trade, it would have hurt our reputation, it would have taken India 10 years back. So country has to see something. I don't know, because PM Modi is not the only person who takes decision. He has some advisors who guide him what should be done, what is in the best interest of the country. And if these people, they are still free, because they could disturb the country, they could bring law and order situation, they could spoil the law and order situation, which could be disturbing for the country. But I think they will have to go to jail, and the possibility is there that they may flee the country, but not for now.
Do you think that Soros and his
Yeah.
Tukde Tukde gang, the toolkit, are the people behind all this?
Soros, when he was there, he has said that I will spend rupees $1 billion to destabilize the government, and he has been doing that. Whether it is your 2020 this agitation in Delhi, whether anti-CA protests are there, and this Soros, he was even against Trump.
Yeah.
Of course, Trump was supportive of India. When Trump had visited India, everything that agitations had taken place in India or Delhi, the disturbances that were created by the AAP leaders, behind that was Soros. But after the change of government, it was expected that this government will act against India, but the government of Joe Biden, it is not acting against India, because they understand the importance of India. Otherwise, when this government had come, they had said that we will target
But then,
India.
yes, sir. Joe Biden's son is supposed to be the most corrupt man, and he has his interest in, the war itself is a result of what Biden and his party want.
I understand, and especially, but the basic thing is that some of his advisors are there who are powerful, who are supporting India, because they know India is powerful. They know that they would need India against China, but without India's help, they cannot counter China in any way, because it is India who is controlling Indian Ocean. It is India which is controlling Malacca Strait, through which 80% of China's trade passes. So America is helping India. America is besides India. America did not want that India should maintain good relations with Russia, but India is maintaining good relations with India. India has specially told this Britishers, the US, that do not involve yourself in Russia. But Joe Biden was under pressure. He did that, and India did not fall prey into that. Of course, India is a member of Quad, which consists of India, US, Australia, and Japan. So they need India. India needs them. China and India, we have a standoff at border, but our trade is $110 billion per year, because India is dependent on China. China is dependent on India. Pakistan is a different country which doesn't think of itself. That is why it is on the road of destruction.
Yeah. Sir, see, watching Biden and Kamala Harris, they look like zombies being controlled by some other sources. Is it
Yeah,
true?
true. You see, there are a lot of people, a lot of advisors are there, but their defense, actually, even their foreign secretary, he was against India, but now they are with India. Their defense secretary, he was not supportive of India. But the way we have presented ourselves, and especially I would like to give credit to S. Jayashankar, how he has handled them, how he
Yes.
has controlled them, and it is our foreign policy, which Pakistani Prime Minister, even ex-Prime Minister, they had been praising that how India is facing this different challenges. Challenges. I had been close to the our foreign policy makers. Maybe I have seen in the world how the things had been happening and the way the things are being handled. Two times we had good foreign policies or hard foreign policy. One when Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister, but at that time the situations was different. And second time is under Modi, when we have wonderful foreign policy, strong foreign policy, and through this foreign policy we are controlling the world. And I tell you one thing, when your foreign policies are framed and you get the support of your intelligence, that is a wonderful job. You can act positively. And now at this time, intelligence, foreign policy, they have good coordination because of the good leadership, because of Ajit Doval. So now, whatever the situation may be, but the US is not against India. US wants to support India. Now, see, recently a Chinese spy ship had come to Sri Lanka. Before that, it's US warship that had docked at India's port. India, of course, had negated whatever the China wanted to do through its own systems, but America also helped. Now, if person, ISI man, he was caught in Russia, our teams are going there to interrogate him because we have good relations with Russia. At this time, we are having wonderful relations with US, but we have excellent relations with the Russians. Russia had helped India in very dire circumstances, 71, even after that. So we have stood with Russia in difficult times. We are taking petrol from them. That is again, that is helping us. We are dealing with other things with Russia because Russia is our friend. We are not. We have on the at the same time we have not antagonized US. We have told them that we need them. Without them, we cannot survive. Without that, we cannot. We will not be able to challenge China. So US has also understood us. Russia has also understood us, and that is the credit for that goes to S. Jayashankar. But PM Modi had appointed him, looking at everything that this man can handle. So he was given the job that you do your job and you help me. PM Modi is not going out of India unnecessarily like the first tenure when he was there,
Yeah.
because his foreign minister is competent. He can deal with them. His commerce minister or our this finance minister, she is competent, and he is leading a total batch of competent people. And only he encourages these people to come and stay with them. We have Yogi in UP who is handling them. Then we have Vishwa Sharma, who came from Congress as chief minister of Assam. So they are helping PM Modi. They are helping our nation. They are helping us in building this nation strong and not dependent on other countries.
Sir, many people say that, see, they make fun of India, saying that we have a lot of poverty. Now, the truth has come out in many videos that America is suffering from youth and drug addiction, youth falling prey to drug addiction. And you can find many neighborhoods in America completely filled with drug addicts. And this is the kind of scenario that Soros wanted for India also. And now this
Yeah.
narcotics attack, which is being done in a very swift manner in India, is going to not help Soros.
You see, Punjab today is totally under the control of drugs. They're influenced because of the Akalis or anything you may say. But you see, on the other hand, lot of drugs that they are being caught and confiscated. That's a big thing. I don't look at the thing, that person wanted to come to India to kill somebody. When the person is caught, I give full credit to the persons who had been working behind that. So, because at what happened at one time when Imran Khan was the prime minister, one of his ministers who was handling Kashmir, he had gone to Pakistan. He has gone to US. When he went to US, all his clothes were taken off at the airport. Means he was filled. After taking off clothes, they had taken his X-ray, etc., whether he was dealing in some drugs or something, and that was a big insult. After that, then when that man he was roaming around in uh, USA, he started making videos of the Americans taking drugs, this and that, everything, and poverty, and he sent those videos to Pakistan. So that also exposed America. Now, whatever your New York Times or Washington Post may say, they are being funded by China. So, and they have been funding and writing anti-India articles. Now, as Arvind Kejriwal also pointed out in the New York Times, that there was article during COVID-19 that there are a lot of deaths in India. But this New York Times, they did not say about the deaths in US, because in the
Absolutely.
although deaths in India, India's population is 4 times that of US, but
Mm,
deaths in the US were twice that of India.
mm,
And the people who had died in Delhi, that was only because of Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal was given money to install oxygen plants. He did not do anything. He said that I would make hospitals. He did not make any hospital. Only one hospital was made. And when this COVID came, the beds were already occupied, and they were falsely occupied. Nobody was staying there. When this investigation was conducted, the names of lot of Muslims appeared, but the beds were vacant. Then people were admitted there. At India, at Delhi especially, in your army areas, especially camps were opened. When the oxygen was brought from outside the Delhi, this oxygen was not supplied to the hospitals by Arvind Kejriwal. They started smuggling this oxygen, and this oxygen through tanks. I had myself seen one tank standing in Vasant Kunj near a petrol pump, and its oxygen was being leaked deliberately, but the hospital was not provided. So, such kind of notorious people, they had charge that. And you see, this America, if people at one time, we used to believe, when we used to talk with the Americans, we normally have our contacts over there, official contact. We used to say that they are very nationalist, but everything has come out. What is the nationalism of US? Nothing. George Soros is sitting in US. He was targeting Trump. He has been targeting India. But I take full credit. I will give full credit to our security agencies or the police or our this army who has been controlling them. In one of the TV channels, there was a debate. He said that we should increase our strength of our intelligence agencies. If you increase the strength of intelligence agencies, you increase them. You keep them double. Take the case of IB. IB must be having around 20,000 people. If you put some people over there, they will need at least 5 to 10 years of training. After that, they will start working. What are the kind of duties that the IB persons have? It's not only about the politicians. It is not only about this drugs. It is not about terrorism. A lot of other riots are conducted all over the places in India. So IB has a lot of responsibilities. Police have a lot of responsibilities. I know one of my friends, few of my friends, they were in police. I never saw them, because when they used to come to me for dinner, etc. Sometimes they would be sitting from morning to night with the shoes on. They say we don't have time. Anytime a call could come and we have to move. We cannot even waste 10 minutes, 10 seconds. So that's the situation. There's a lot of pressure on our police forces, because we have a big population, we have big problems, we have big issues, which in the other countries they are not there. So, but the only thing is, our system, our intelligence agencies, our police, our security agencies, they are doing wonderful job. Of course, the corrupt people are there. Like you see, recently some people from the BSF, they were caught, who was smuggling cows outside India to Bangladesh. So that part is that a part of the game. People are corrupt everywhere.
But when a righteous officer like Samir Wankhede, is removed from his position, and humiliated, and because the topmost actor goes to Delhi to get someone's influence to get him removed, that itself shows, for politicians in a very poor light.
I tell you one thing. This is not this is not correct information. Wankhede was not removed by the government because certain allegations. And if I tell you one thing, you see some politicians, because I had been meeting some of these politicians, if they know that they try to create some kind of influence to involve in some things, they will lose their job. No politician is prepared to come forward, because somebody recently talked to me. He was a very important person. He said, you may be knowing Ajit Dawal, etc. So take this case to him, etc., etc., because he wanted to earn some money. I said, firstly, I know some people around him. I don't know him. But if I take this case, those people will not take, because honest people are there. And if this comes to the notice of Ajit Dawal, that in this doing this kind of thing, you have some ulterior motive of making money, he will not do that. I tell you one thing. allegations were made against Wankhede, they had to take action because that could have created problems. There were cases in the court also, but later, because the government will not support you or the department will not support you because certain allegations were made against him that he does not belong to Shtul caste and that he's a Muslim. But when this case was settled in court, Wankhede was given his due position. It is not that the government had asked him. But when some allegations are made you have
But
to prove
after
it.
what? After what? All this mudslinging in public, where your father, your mother, your sister, and your
Who
wife are
who made
thrown to the wolves.
who made those allegations? Nawab Malik.
Nawab
Where
Malik,
is Nawab
yeah,
Malik?
and yeah,
But but
because of that.
but where is Nawab Malik? Nawab Malik is in jail. Nawab Malik is in jail for the past 10 months. For the past
No,
months,
but
he's
not for this. Not for this. It is for
not for
many
this.
other cases.
If you put some certain allegation against me, you have to file case against me. It's not that the
Yeah.
third person would file against you, but the government has taken action against him. Government has proved that he had connection with the underworld, and Wankhede has filed a case against him for means hurting his sentiment for means making him pay for this. But the only thing, you see, why the people come under the attention of the intelligence agencies or even investigating agencies when they make such kind of things. If Nawab Malik was sitting here, he would have been silent. No issue would have been raised. But Nawab Malik started making noise. Why Sanjay Raut is in jail? Is Sanjay Raut the only corrupt person? Because he's starting a lot of noise. He's starting challenging everybody, whether it was Arnab Goswami or Kangana Ranaut, anybody. Today he's in jail. Why other people are not there? Do you think the chief minister, there will not be any charges against the chief minister? Now, why Kejriwal is under attention? Because when PM Modi was addressing a meeting of the chief ministers, Kejriwal made certain gestures which are not acceptable. He started sitting like this thing there. Is it the way? He started teasing Modi. But what happened? It's not the Modi who had directed. Modi did not give any attention to that. It is our agencies who start acting on that. ये ऐसा कर रहा है, देखो इसको. So it so happens. And you see, corruption, there is no shortage of corruption. Lot of corrupt people are there. Lot of corruption is going on. But the people who come into attention, they are targeted. And it is not that NCB or your ED, they are two big organizations. They have limited staff. And for one investigation, you may involve on a regular basis 20, 30, 40 people. And they are working full time on that project. You cannot have 20,000 people in the ED. So those are things. And the people who say that a minister from the government, he would do something, you come with me. I'll take you to some minister, ask him to take some initiative on certain things. Nobody will do anything. They are afraid. They know that if they do anything illegal, they would be disturbed. Nobody wants to lose his job. Nobody wants to come into the eyes of the government because this government is giving special attention, proper attention to nationalism, national jobs. So if Wankhede was charged by anybody, it is Wankhede's duty. it was Wankhede's duty to clarify himself, and he won the case in the court. After that, he is going to file defamation case against Nawab Malik. People may say a lot of things, but if Nawab Malik is in jail because of his interference,
what has happened? Yeah, what has happened in the process is that he had almost reached the end of the case when he called Ananya Pandey and caught Shah Rukh's son, and they were reaching the end of the chain where it is connecting to international peddlers and drug dons. At that time, they caught him. So then the whole thing was finished. Now, where are you hearing about NCB trying to catch anybody?
You see, NCB is now filing cases against Riya Chakravarti and a lot of people. And you see, I had been working on certain things.
That was the beginning itself.
Yeah, you see, the basic thing is that there was at that time a different type of government was in Maharashtra, and
Understood.
they were well connected with the underworld. 1993, the Mumbai blast had taken place. They have everything. What was there? Politicians, just your public servants, police, they were all involved. What happened?
But in between there was a Fadnavis government also?
I didn't get you.
In between, you had a BJP government also.
government, government becomes helpless. Now, if the government is there is at center, do you think that they can set right everything? How many years Modi has taken to settle things?
Yeah, yeah.
We are not. You see, basically the problem is every now and then Modi is somewhere. Modi sometimes unveils some statue. That's also building India. Modi has to go to
Yeah,
Bhutan. Modi has to go to Nepal. Modi has to go to
yeah,
different countries.
true.
And you see how much time you find. You must be
Mm.
doing cooking at your house. How much time
Yeah.
you find
Mm.
besides that? I'm totally busy even with making my videos. My family is not
Mm.
happy with me. And you
Mm.
see the tremendous jobs that he will be handling. And I think he sleeps for 3 to 4 hours. That was same was being done by Indira Gandhi. What was
Yeah.
the
But
other
one candid
PMs?
question. One candid question. Why do you think I would only be busy with cooking?
Normally, ladies do that. You have to cook the food. I also do cooking. That's not the thing. That's not an issue. I also normally I used to make my breakfast also at home. Because you
No,
have
I
to
do
have it. And
another 100 things as well.
you, yeah, because I tell you one thing. In the morning, I have to prepare tea also. Even for
Uh,
the servant who is coming to our house, I just provide her tea. We have to do all the things. That's part of our life. And whether it's a man or woman, they have to do all the things. So and see the man. You see, even if I have to go some place, though you wanted to call me at 8 p.m. I said I am not free because I am sitting with the family. I reach home at 7 o'clock, have a cup of tea with my wife. After at 8 o'clock, we have dinner. 8:15 we have dinner. So we are busy with them. If I start talking to somebody on phone, they don't feel comfortable. And what to talk of making a videos. So Saturday, Sundays also I'm not. And maybe I used to cook my food also. Maybe this Saturday I will do some cooking also. I do regularly. That's not the issue. So, but you see, I don't find time. So what can you talk about the PM? So I have seen Indira Gandhi also moving so closely. We used to go to her house at one time. R.K. Dhawan was there. He had wanted to arrange a meeting with Indira Gandhi, and he was looking for an opportunity. I saw that at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, she was moving around within her house, and at so high speed, and attending to so many people. Now somebody says the PM Modi के पास क्या है? He मेरी problem नहीं सुनता. पीएम मोदी के पास यूएस है, पीएम मोदी के पास रशिया है, पीएम मोदी के पास यूके है, पीएम मोदी के पास पूरी कैबिनेट है, पीएम मोदी के पास बाकी कंट्रीज हैं, नेपाल है, समथिंग है, नेपाल का पीएम भी गालियां देके चला गया. सो बेसिकली क्या है कि हाउ मच टाइम ही हैज टू लुक इनटू एवरीथिंग. नाउ द चाइनीज शिप हैज कम. पीएम मोदी विल बी ब्रीफ्ड that Chinese spy ship is there and we have taken this thing. After that, the other person will come. He would say, do this thing. But still, he finds time, attends to a lot of things, and that's why the country is running. Whether Bollywood is there, I don't think PM Modi will have time to talk to Bollywood. But when some people come to see him, he listens to them. He finds time for them. Now the people who had won medals, PM Modi met everybody. He was there.
and also the sports scene has changed because of Modi.
Yeah, and I know I can't do. I have seen PM, when PM Modi this 15th August was there. He was meeting all the dancers from the state after making the address for 1.5 hour. He was meeting everyone. Beating retreat I had gone once. After attending the beating retreat, PM Modi started beating the people. I mean, going around the place. I am really surprised that he doesn't get tired. How much duties he has, how much time he has, how many issues he can attend at time. Now some renovation, some problem is there at one of my houses, one of my properties. It's a small issue. I was not able to go there. You wanted me to come yesterday. I was not able to. I said I don't know whether I may have to go there. So about today also I
Sir,
was not there. So
yeah,
basically,
yeah. One thing I wanted to ask you is that, see, there are some misfits in the government, some ministers, who put
yeah,
their foot in their mouth, and put him in such a problem.
that is there. That is there, of course. But what can he do? What can one do? Now, basically, Nupur Sharma is there. Maybe didn't I don't say that he may have said something wrong, but that was made an issue. And that lady is in trouble. Salman Rushdie, he was tried to be killed after 34 years. Somebody in Andhra Pradesh, he made some
Another
statement.
minister is so close to Ekta Kapoor that Ekta Kapoor and Karan Johar get the Padma Shri.
You see, basically, you can't shut everybody's mouth. And the government cannot dismiss the minister for making one statement because they have to look at the performance of the minister. PM Modi himself is working. So Amit Shah, he is doing his job. Then after that, Railway Minister doing excellent job. Your Petroleum Minister, wonderful job. Then your this Commerce Minister, I think excellent. So basically, now the only thing is that some people they want to come into the cabinet. PM Modi doesn't take, and after that they have to shut them out. Please don't do. Please don't create problems for us.
Yeah.
We have already a lot of problems. The country is facing a lot of problems today, whether it's Russia, whether it is China, whether Taiwan. Now, some people wanted to say that either India should make some statement on Taiwan. India is refraining from making any statement directly because our leaders in the past, they have also committed mistake. Our Prime Minister Nehru, he in the 50s had said China, he accepted China's one China policy. So India can't go against that. I'm a member of an Indo-Tibet organization who are fighting for Tibet's liberation. So they called me at some meeting. I went there. So after holding the meeting, some prominent people, they were holding discussions. They said, we can take Tibet. I go, no, you can't take Tibet. He said, why? I said, your Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he had gone to China in 2003 and he has signed an agreement with China that Tibet is a part of China. And he expected that China would accept, which solve the border issue with India. Instead, China said only the Sikkim is part of India. They agreed that border. Rest they left. So these people have put us in a lot of difficulties, whether it is Nehru or basically even Atal Bihari Vajpayee to some extent and other ministers, And I tell you one
Even
thing,
someone like Hardev Singh Puri says, the Rohingyas are going to be accommodated. That was such a big mistake from his side.
No, basically it was not like that. It is being misrepresented. Actually, there was some issue from the UN, etc., that you are looking after them. So on that side, the people who had been assigned the job of, who had been credited as Rohingyas coming into India as refugees, he is providing them the job. This thing, he didn't say about anything because I had worked with the Hardeep Puri. He was Deputy High Commissioner in London, excellent person, non-corrupt person, practical person, and this statement is with respect to something. He is not means authorizing the other Rohingyas who had come to India as legal, but the people who had come to India and had who are accepted as refugees, some facilities are being provided to them. Same is being done in Bangladesh also. Bangladesh PM, she has repeatedly been asking China, India for help in sending Rohingyas back to their country because they are a problem for them. When some refugees come into your country under the UNHCR, so you have to provide them the basic amenities. About that, only Hardeep Puri had said, otherwise not. He is not outspoken. And if Hardeep Puri, working from the MEA, he was brought into the cabinet, it was for certain reasons, because of his capabilities, and he has proved as a wonderful minister, as
Sir,
petroleum
there are
minister.
certain rumors. There are certain rumors coming about him also that he is corrupt. So and valid sources as well.
I don't know, but I have worked with him. I told you at London. I had otherwise also seen certain people,
Perhaps he has changed. Perhaps he has changed.
But one has to be careful when working under Modi. The day PM Modi comes to know something,
Exactly,
people will have problem. Now, if you talk about Manoj Tiwari, due to whom this Kejriwal won Delhi's election in 2020, he was made the president of the BJP state unit. He has a lot of properties. Some people do earn, a lot of things are there, but basically in the government projects, the people will not allow. The government will not allow, and they don't have the courage, But I cannot give guarantee for anybody. But I think the people, as far as his job of petroleum minister is there, he is doing excellent work. He had played important role in bringing oil from Russia. Even before that, he had gone to Russia for certain projects, and there also he was very successful. So that's why he was kept in the cabinet. And he has the knowledge, he has the understanding. Because at that time, when I was in London, they wanted to purchase some heavy equipment for him for bed, etc. He said, no, I am a Sikh, yaar. Mereko kya chahiye? Mereko chota chahiye. I don't want heavy things, Means he was not prepared to spend extravagantly, as the people in the foreign ministry are there. So that is there. But I cannot take any guarantee. Certain rumors may be there. But I think if anything comes to the notice of government is not going to leave that person. Today we have the best cook.
What happened about the Silly Soul restaurant and bar and Jairam Ramesh's saga? It's Smriti Irani.
I'm not frankly aware of that, because
Okay,
I
sir.
this
I
had
think
I had
yeah, our 1 hour is over. So I think thank you so much for coming on our show and obliging
thank you.
us. Very interesting talk. Please join us
Well,
next week as well.
yeah, sure. I liked it.
Abs-
The
Yeah,
all the kind of questions they were put. And so I'm
yeah,
sorry about the last question, but if I find time, I'll look into that because I had to prepare certain videos also about the
yeah,
man who was caught in Russia,
yeah.
etc. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Also, just a last point is that
Yeah,
other than cooking, I also do painting. I also write articles. I do
yeah, yeah, yeah,
books.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I
yeah.
make
No, no, no.
cartoons and a lot of
You
other
know,
things, and all these
but
videos as well.
but I don't know. I don't know. The only thing is that only I have not been able to go through any of your poems, etc. Because unless you share that on the this and you are multi-talented, of course. My wife, she is also an
Thank you, sir.
artist. She is also an artist,
Yeah.
and
See,
she had done the code.
the thing is, Suji, is that see, cuisine is an art in itself,
Yeah,
and nobody can perfect it unless you really have a passion for it, and
true,
very few
true.
people have. So that itself is a very big skill. So thank you for that as well. So
Yeah, thank you,
thank you, and see you next week.
thank you, thank you.
Bye.